A computer science degree? Dad's voice dripped with disdain as he tossed my MIT acceptance letter onto our mahogany dining table. What happened to following the family tradition of business administration? It was 2015, and at 18, I'd just achieved what most tech enthusiasts could only dream of: early admission to MIT's prestigious computer science program. But in the Martinez family, tradition outweighed innovation every time. The business world is changing, Dad, I argued, trying to keep my voice steady. Everything's going digital. Companies need people who understand both business and technology. Mom shook her head, her perfectly styled hair not moving an inch. Linda, Mija, your father and I built Martinez International from nothing into a Fortune 500 company. We did it with solid business principles, not computer games. They're not games, I protested. I've been coding since I was 12. The inventory management system I built for the warehouse last summer saved us thousands in dash. A proper business education would teach you that relationships, not computers, build success, Dad interrupted. MIT. He practically spat the name. What's wrong with Wharton? Your brother David graduated from there and now he's our CFO. Yes, David, the golden child who'd followed the prescribed path. Business degree, MBA, and now at 32 he was running our family company's finances exactly the way Dad had 20 years ago. Never mind that our competitors were rapidly digitizing while we still used paper ledgers and manual inventory counts. The world is different now, I tried again. Look at our competitors, they're all investing in digital transformation. Cloud computing, AI-driven analytics dash. Buzzwords, Dad dismissed with a wave of his hand. Flash without substance. Martinez International was built on handshakes and hard work, not silicon chips and computer codes. Mom reached across the table, patting my hand in that patronizing way she'd perfected. Why don't you study business at Wharton? You can take some computer classes as electives if you must. I pulled my hand away, standing up from the table. Because I don't want to learn business the way it was done 20 years ago. I want to shape how it's done 20 years from now. Stubborn girl, Dad muttered in Spanish, forgetting I'd become fluent years ago. Just like your Aunt Elena. Always chasing dreams instead of security. Aunt Elena, the family black sheep who'd left the company to start her own tech consultancy. The same aunt who'd taught me my first programming language and showed me that innovation wasn't just about computers, but about courage. Fine, I said, gathering my acceptance letter. Don't support my MIT dream. But remember this conversation when Martinez International starts losing market share to companies that aren't afraid of the future. Dad laughed, that rich, confident laugh of someone who couldn't imagine their empire crumbling. We've survived 3 recessions, 2 market crashes, and countless competitors. We'll survive whatever digital fad you're worried about. I left the dining room that night knowing 2 things. I was going to MIT with or without their blessing, and someday they'd regret dismissing the power of digital transformation. Thanks to Aunt Elena's secret college fund she'd been saving for me since I wrote my first line of code, I didn't need their financial support. And thanks to the small tech consulting business I'd built in high school, the one they thought was just a hobby, I had enough savings to cover what my scholarships didn't. The next morning I placed 2 letters on the dining table before they woke up. One declining Wharton's offer and one accepting MIT's. Let them think I was throwing away my future. I knew I was securing it. Over the next 4 years, while my family continued their paper-based empire, I immersed myself in the future. MIT wasn't just a school, it was an incubator for innovation. Every project, every late-night coding session, every algorithm I perfected was building toward something bigger than my parents could imagine. By my sophomore year, I'd developed an AI-driven business management platform that caught the attention of Silicon Valley. My junior year internship at Google turned into a patent for a revolutionary cloud-based enterprise resource planning system. Senior year, my thesis on digital transformation in traditional industries won multiple awards and sparked a bidding war among tech companies. Meanwhile, Martinez International remained stubbornly analog. During holiday breaks, I'd visit the office, watching in quiet frustration as employees manually entered data into outdated systems. David, my CFO brother, still printed monthly reports that were outdated before the ink dried. Still playing with computers? He'd ask whenever we crossed paths, his Wharton MBA practically radiating from his designer suits. Still using calculators? I'd reply, noting the growing stack of paper on his desk. The summer I graduated, while my parents were telling relatives I was finding myself in California, I was actually founding Transform Tech, a company specializing in digital transformation for traditional industries. Aunt Elena joined as my chief strategy officer, bringing 2 decades of tech consulting experience and a deliciously ironic sense of vindication. Your father called, she told me one evening 6 months after our launch. Wanted to know if I'd seen you. Apparently they're worried you're wasting your potential out here. I looked around our San Francisco office, already too small for our growing team, and smiled. Did you tell them about our contract with their biggest competitor? She laughed, her eyes twinkling. I thought we'd let them figure that out on their own. And figure it out they did. Within a year, Martinez International started losing clients to companies we'd transformed. Their manual processes couldn't compete with the AI-driven efficiency we were implementing across the industry. Their paper trails looked antiquated next to our blockchain-secured digital networks. By 2023, Transform Tech had become the leading digital transformation consultancy in the country. Our client list read like a who's who of Fortune 500 companies, minus one notable family-owned business that still believed in handshakes over hardware. Then came the call I'd been both expecting and dreading. Ms. Martinez? The voice belonged to James Wilson, head of Martinez International's board of directors. We need to talk about the future of your family's company. I leaned back in my ergonomic chair, looking out over the San Francisco skyline from my corner office. Which future would that be, Mr. Wilson? The one where you continue falling behind your digitally transformed competitors, or the one where you finally admit you need help? The silence on the other end was heavy with recognition. They'd done their research. They knew exactly who I was, what I'd built, and why their company was failing. The board has voted, he said finally. We're initiating a complete digital transformation. We want Transform Tech to lead it. I smiled, thinking of all those dismissive comments about my computer games. And my father? Does he know you're calling his wayward daughter for help? Another pause. The board has suggested he take a temporary advisory role during the transformation process. Suggested. I couldn't help but laugh. You mean they're sidelining him to save the company he built? Will you help us, Ms. Martinez? I looked at the framed MIT acceptance letter hanging on my wall, the one my father had tossed aside 8 years ago. Send me the contract, I said. It's time for Martinez International to enter the 21st century. The Martinez International headquarters hadn't changed in 8 years. Same imposing granite facade, same brass nameplate, same oak-paneled lobby where my father's portrait still hung prominently. But this time I wasn't walking in as the disappointing daughter. I was entering as Linda Martinez, CEO of Transform Tech, the woman about to drag this company into the modern age. My Louboutin heels clicked against the marble floor as I made my way to the main conference room, followed by my team of tech specialists. The sound echoed through the halls like a countdown to revolution. Ms. Martinez, James Wilson greeted me, standing as I entered. The board members, all men over 50 who'd known me since I was a child, shifted uncomfortably in their seats. Thank you for coming. My father sat at the far end of the table, his usual seat at the head conspicuously vacant. Besides him, David clutched his leather portfolio like a shield, paper documents spilling out, a fitting metaphor for their outdated methods. Let's skip the pleasantries, I said, taking the head seat. With a gesture, my team began setting up our holographic presentation system. Your Q3 reports show a 40% decline in market share. Your processing times are triple industry standard. Your security systems are. I paused, looking directly at David. Well, let's just say I could have hacked them with the skills I had at 16. Now see here, Dad started, his face reddening, but Wilson cut him off. Please continue, Ms. Martinez. I tapped my tablet, and the room darkened as a holographic display filled the air above the conference table. This is Martinez International's current technology infrastructure. A sad collection of red nodes and broken connections floated before us. And this, another tap, is your competitors. The contrast was stark. Their systems were intricate webs of blue light, pulsing with data and efficiency. By God, someone whispered. You're not just behind, I continued. You're practically in another century. Your inventory management is manual, your customer data is vulnerable, And your processing systems are held together with metaphorical duct tape and literal prayer. David cleared his throat. Our systems have served us well for 20 years? I interrupted. The same 20 years during which every other major player in your industry digitized? The same 20 years during which you lost 60% of your market value to more technologically advanced competitors. The room fell silent except for the soft hum of our holographic system. The board has approved a complete digital transformation, Wilson said, shooting a warning look at my father who seemed ready to explode. We want Transform Tech to handle everything: infrastructure, training, implementation. I pulled up another hologram: our proposed transformation plan. Phase 1 will take 6 months. We'll overhaul your basic infrastructure, implement cloud-based solutions, and begin staff training. Phase 2 involves AI integration, automated processing systems, and advanced data analytics. Phase 3. 6 months. Dad finally burst out. You think you can change everything we've built in 6 months? I met his gaze steadily. No, Dad. I'm going to save everything you've built in 6 months. The same way I could have started saving it 8 years ago if you'd bothered to listen. Linda, Mom's voice came from the doorway. I hadn't even noticed her enter. This is your father's company. Not anymore, Wilson interjected. The board has voted. During the transformation, Linda will have full operational control. Her proven track record with digital transformation Proven track record? David scoffed. She's barely out of college. I pulled up one final hologram: Transform Tech's client list and success metrics. The Fortune 500 logos floated impressively above the table, along with their transformation results. Average revenue increase, 312%. Average efficiency improvement, 508%. Market share growth, 215%. I may be barely out of college, I said quietly, but I'm also the person every other company in your industry wishes they'd hired years ago. The same person you told was wasting her time with computer games. The transformation of Martinez International began the next morning at precisely 8 a.m. My team swept through the building like a digital tsunami, installing new systems, replacing outdated hardware, and beginning the massive task of data migration. Dad watched from his new, smaller office as his empire was dismantled and rebuilt. The portrait in the lobby came down, replaced by a stunning digital display showing real-time company metrics. The rows of filing cabinets that had lined the halls disappeared, their contents scanned and secured in our cloud system. You're destroying everything, he accused one morning, finding me in his old office, now my command center. No, Dad, I replied, not looking up from my holographic display of the company's new neural network. I'm saving everything. There's a difference. The first month was the hardest. Employees who'd spent decades doing things the Martinez way had to learn entirely new systems. David, especially, struggled with the transition from his beloved paper ledgers to our AI-driven financial platform. This is ridiculous, he complained during a training session. I can't trust a computer to make financial decisions. Really? I pulled up his department's error rate for the past year. Because your manual processes had a 23% error rate. Our AI system, 0.002%. Mom tried to play peacemaker, bringing conciliatory cups of coffee to my office. Mija, perhaps we could slow down a little? Give people time to adjust. Like our competitors gave us time to adjust? I showed her the latest market reports. We've lost another 5% market share just this month. Time isn't our friend anymore. But gradually things began to change. The first success came from the shipping department, where our new automated logistics system cut processing time by 75%. Then the sales team discovered how our AI could predict customer needs before they even arose. Even David had to admit defeat when our financial AI spotted a pattern of inefficiencies that had been bleeding money for years, something his manual audits had missed completely. How? He asked, staring at the data. How did it see this? The same way I've been seeing things for years, I replied. By looking at patterns instead of papers. 3 months into the transformation, we had our first major win. A client who'd left us for a more technologically advanced competitor came back, impressed by our new systems. Then another. And another. The board meeting at the 4-month mark was very different from that first confrontational session. Wilson could barely contain his excitement as I presented the numbers. Processing times down 82%. Customer satisfaction up 67%. Market share recovering at a rate of 3% per month. I swiped through the holographic charts. And this is just the beginning. Dad sat quietly through the presentation, his expression unreadable. But I noticed he'd started carrying a tablet instead of his old leather notebook. The real breakthrough came during month 5. Our AI predicted a major market shift 2 weeks before it happened, allowing Martinez International to position itself perfectly. The resulting profit was more than the company had made in the previous year. That evening I found Dad in my office staring at the neural network display. "I don't understand any of this," he admitted. "These patterns, these connections, it's like magic to me." "It's not magic, Dad. It's the future. The future I tried to show you 8 years ago." He touched the holographic display, watching the data streams flow through his fingers. "When you were 12, he said slowly, "you built a computer from parts you found in the garage. I told you to stop wasting time and focus on business studies. I remember. You weren't wasting time, were you? You were seeing something I couldn't see." I stood beside him, watching our company's digital heartbeat pulse through the display. I was seeing this. A world where business isn't about paper and handshakes anymore. It's about patterns and possibilities. "Your mother found your old MIT acceptance letter," he continued. "The one I had dismissed. She framed it. It's in my office now." I looked at him, surprised. "I was wrong, Linda. About everything." "Not everything," I corrected him. "You taught me about business fundamentals, about dedication, about building something that lasts. You just forgot that what lasts isn't always what stays the same."